Amen and amen. The power of peace is not just an initiative, an institutional agenda, but indeed in every respect is the clarion call, mothers of Africa, to another generation of leaders and daughters being raised up in that transgenerational space of distinctive leadership. Once again, we welcome everyone to the dome of the Presidential Banquet Villa Hall of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. And today, you are here on the very distinctive invitation of Her Excellency, First Lady of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. Please, once again, let's celebrate and appreciate her, and the President of the African First Ladies Peace Mission, Dr. Aisha Buhari, and the personification of her own brand, The Future Assured. It's with every sense of presidential assurance and that which carries the endorsement and the integrated enforcement of First Ladies all across Africa that we welcome all of the distinguished presence here today. With the opening prayers by Hajia Belita Bashir, the Director General of the National Center for Women's Development, and also the DG of the just concluded Presidential Women's Campaign Team. O God of creation, directs the noble cause not just of Nigeria, but of Nigeria in transition, and for Africa out of Nigeria as an institutional capital for First Ladies Peace Mission all across the continent. We'd like to therefore once again acknowledge, along with Her Excellency hosting here today, who hosts as the President of the African First Ladies Peace Mission, Her Excellency Angeline Nda Yishimiye of Burundi, who is the Vice President of the African First Ladies Peace Mission. Already acknowledged once again, we acknowledge her because in transition, she will be coming into this assignment, Her Excellency, the incoming First Lady, Distinguished Senator Oluremi Tinubu. Her Excellency, the First Lady of Gambia, Her Excellency Fatoumata Barrow. Her Excellency, the First Lady of Niger, Her Excellency Khadija Mambeke Bazoum. Her Excellency, First Lady Sao Tome and Principe, Her Excellency Fatima Villanova. Of course, with all their excellencies, First Ladies of African representation, we have one lady who is distinctive in her own reference and platform, the Vice President of Liberia. Please help me celebrate the jewel, Her Excellency Jewel Taylor. We have representations of their excellencies, First Ladies from Liberia, Congo DRC, the Republic of Congo, and Equatorial Guinea. Please, a round of applause for all of those representations here today. Thank you very much. We welcome you. Other distinguished recognitions here today, I'd like to properly acknowledge with us Mr. Matthias Schmal, the UN Resident and Humanitarian Coordinator, here with us, as well as Rear Admiral B.J. Bassa, representing the Chief of Naval Staff. You're welcome. We also have their excellencies, wives of executive governors of the Federal Republic of Nigeria here present. Your excellencies all, you are welcome. We'd like to also acknowledge all of the representation of the wives of service chiefs of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. And please, let's put our hands together and acknowledge every one of them, led by the wife of the Chief of Defense Staff, Mrs. Victoria Irabo. We'd also like to properly acknowledge here with us all of your excellencies, ambassadors, members of the diplomatic corps, special envoys, and distinguished stakeholders in the enterprise of this collective representation of the African First Ladies Peace Mission. Gentlemen of the press, ladies and gentlemen, you are welcome. Seated on the high table already, we have announced them, celebrated them, First Ladies, but along with them, we have seated His Excellency Ambassador Bankole Adeoye, AU, African Union Commissioner for Political Affairs, Peace and Security. We would also like to acknowledge and welcome Her Excellency Bineta Diop, AU Special Envoy for Women, Peace and Security. Ladies and gentlemen of the press, welcome. What began in 1997 as a referendum bringing together an umbrella body of wives of African heads of state and government to play a supportive role to the Africa Union regional organization and national governments in fostering peace and reducing conflict in the African continent, today has become an institutional representation, and for the very first time in the history of the African First Ladies Peacekeeping Mission, you are in Nigeria for what will be the commissioning of their African Secretariat, a statement across continents and from the Federal Republic of Nigeria that not only says that in her tenure, Her Excellency, the First Lady, Dr. Aisha Buhari did it. She did it for one, she did it for all. And all African First Ladies, truly, in being saluted and applauded today, have established what is a transgenerational First Lady brand from Africa to the world. Please, another round of applause as we appreciate them. Thank you. Thank you indeed. Thank you very much. So having said that, I would now like at this point to please invite for her opening remarks the Senior Special Assistant to the President on Legal Matters, Ms. Aisha Rimi. A round of applause as she comes up. Thank you.
Good afternoon. Habari. Salam alaikum. Bonjour. Bon dia. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, Her Excellency Mrs. Aisha Buhari, and I've been instructed to stand on all existing protocols, so you'll please have to forgive me that I will not go through all the dignitaries here present. But I will make one exception, because I would like to ask Ambassador Bankole, how does it feel to be in the minority? Welcome to our world. I think Yoruba people would call him Okonlawo. Thank you. So, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon. I would like to extend a warm welcome to all of you here this afternoon to the 10th General Assembly of the Africa First Ladies Peace Mission. We are honored to have you here and grateful for your presence and your commitment to our core objective, which is peace building. The Peace Mission has been in existence since 1996, guys, not 97, when it was birthed at the famous Beijing conference by the visionary founding members who were the then First Ladies of Nigeria, Gambia, Benin Republic, Uganda, Lesotho, and Burundi. Over the years, it has had 8 presidents, and today we have successfully held the 10th General Assembly of the organization and elected a new president who will take over the affairs of the mission next month. But I will let His Excellency announce a successor. We gather here today, we're reminded of the challenges still facing our world. Conflicts, violence, and intolerance continue to plague our communities and threaten the fabric of our societies. However, we're also reminded of the power of peace and the strength that comes from unity and cooperation. Over the course of today's session, we will listen to distinguished speakers who will share with us their collective experience in dealing with issues of peace and security. Pray silence, please. Its effects on the vulnerable members of society, who are usually women and children. And in some cases, you will hear about personal experiences, and above all, they will share with us their thoughts and ideas on how to avoid and manage situations of conflict. You will also hear from my colleague, Dr. Victoria Ogala, who will present the communique of the closed-door session that was just held by the First Ladies here present. I thank you for joining us today, and will now hand over to Dr. Ogala, who is a Special Assistant to the President on Health and Developmental Partners, and has worked over the years with victims and our partners in the quest to promote a safe, healthy, secure, and peaceful continent. Thank you for listening, and welcome.
Well, thank you for directing the charge and correcting the date line. It's 1996, not 1997, Dio, and I stand corrected. Well, pray. applaud. Like she said, pray, silence, now pray. Everyone applaud and let's appreciate Aisha Rimi. Thank you. Actually, I stood up because we would like, my apologies, to invite, please come up and be seated, even as I recognize a present here. Ambassador Rebecca Amugel Tengo, chairperson of the PSC for May 2023, ambassador of Uganda to Ethiopia, AU, and UNECA, to please come up and be seated. Thank you. Thank you. Please, let's applaud and welcome her as I now invite to do the presentation of communique, Dr. Victoria Ogala. You're welcome, madam.
Her Excellency, the outgoing President of Aflpm and First Lady of Nigeria, Mrs. Aisha Buhari, the incoming President of Aflpm, Her Excellencies, all the First Ladies present here, please permit me to stand on existing protocol. It is my honor to present the communique from the just concluded closed-door meeting of the First Ladies present. The meeting began at 10:50 a.m., where the outgoing President, Mrs. Aisha Buhari, joined her counterparts, the First Ladies of the various countries represented here, as well as their representatives, and also the Vice President of Liberia, as well as our incoming First Lady, were all present at this meeting. And certain decisions were made, as well as an audit report which was presented. By way of introduction, the African First Ladies Peace Mission has been dedicated to promoting peace, security, and development in Africa since its establishment in 1996. It was founded with the goal of preventing and managing conflicts and the preservation of peace through civil and humanitarian diplomacy in Africa, and membership is open to all African First Ladies. At the session, goodwill messages were given by all the First Ladies present, as well as their representatives. And they had something in common. They all strengthened in their resolve to fight for peace in Africa. I think they deserve an applause. They also sought to end poverty and improve the economic power of women and children in their countries, as well as improving the health of their citizens. They noted that without peace, development would be difficult. They all gave an update on their activities in their various countries, which I must say was very, very admirable. They all expressed their profound appreciation for all the achievements of the outgoing president, Mrs. Buhari, especially the building of the Secretariat in record time. During this meeting, the wife of the president-elect, the incoming First Lady of Nigeria, distinguished Senator Oluremi Tinubu, was officially introduced to the First Ladies, as she will be at the helm of affairs on the Nigerian front. Mrs. Buhari's achievements were presented, as well as an outgoing audit report by Barrister Aisha Rimi, who just spoke here, the Senior Special Assistant to the President on Legal Matters. Mrs. Buhari also took the podium to present an account of her leadership, her achievements, and her vision for Aflpm. She also called on former First Ladies to join her as members of the Board of Trustees of Aflpm. And this membership, she said, was open to all former First Ladies, all former female presidents, all former female vice presidents, all those who were interested in handling peace and ensuring peace in Africa. And at this point, she was also made the Board of Trustees of this group of honorary former firsts. At this session, her achievements were mentioned, and I will repeat these achievements to the House. Dr. Mrs. Aisha Muhammadu Buhari was elected as President of Aflpm on the 22nd of November 2021 at the 9th General Summit of Aflam, which was held here in the city of Abuja, Nigeria. And since assuming office, she has worked tirelessly to advance the vision of Aflam across the continent. One of her priorities was to set up a permanent and well-structured organization which would be able to stand on its own while fully achieving its aims and objectives. Needless to say, we will be commissioning that vision tomorrow. She single-handedly raised over 5 billion naira through various funders. I'll also clap here. Through various funders, including the Nigerian government, some countries of the peace mission, and some private domains. She also co-opted a committee to develop a charter to govern the affairs of Aflam, which was adopted by members of the African First Ladies Peace Mission who were present there. She was extended the privilege of speaking at the extraordinary session of the opening plenary of the African Union Heads of States Summit in Malabo, Republic of Equatorial Guinea, on the 27th of May 2022, during which she addressed all the African heads of states on issues concerning women. She addressed our leaders on issues concerning women and children, and she at that time noted the need to include peace in the school curriculum of our children. On the 22nd of September 2022, the Aflam, in collaboration with the United Nations Population Fund, they held a high-level side event on the margins of the 77th United Nations General Assembly in New York with the theme, The Role of Women and Girls in Advancing Peace and Security, Promoting a Culture of Peace in Fragile Settings. Mrs. Buhari also embarked on support missions to other African countries. She did a lot of distribution of food and educational materials to a lot of our countries here. And she also, through the African First Ladies Peace Mission, donated a lot of blankets to the people of Turkey. She initiated an alliance between the African First Ladies Peace Mission and the African Union, for which a memorandum of understanding, as well as the establishment of a joint work plan, will be signed shortly. And I can attest to that because we have a commissioner here from the AU who is here to just administer that MOU. As Mrs. Buhari's term will end in a few weeks, she will automatically become a member and chairperson of the Board of Trustees, which I had earlier explained. As you can see, she's becoming retired, but definitely not tired. With her wealth of experience, as well as the other former First Ladies and the formers, they will provide insights, guidance, wisdom, and all-round support to our distinguished current First Ladies all around Africa. And as I said, the council is open to all former First Ladies, former presidents, former vice presidents who are ready to support peace. Her Excellency, before she leaves finally, is also scheduled to address the Peace and Security Council of the African Union on May 16, 2023. As we said, several things took place during the meeting. And one of the things that took place was an election. It was conducted peacefully. It was conducted fairly. And at the end of the day, a new president was elected, as well as a vice president. And the new First Lady, or would I say, the new president of Aflam, is no other than the person of the First Lady of Burundi, Mrs. Angeline Indamessier. May she rise for recognition. Thank you, Her Excellency. She has become the 9th president of Aflam, and she will be assisted by a neighbor of Nigeria, no other person than the First Lady of Niger, Mrs. Khadija Mabruka Bazoum. Thank you, Her Excellency. And they both accepted the elections. And in her speech, while accepting this position, the new president requested the chairperson of the Board of Trustees, Mrs. Buhari, to continue to support Aflam together with her team of Board of Trustees. And I do believe she has accepted to do that. On behalf of the guests of the 10th General Assembly, I say to our outgoing president, Madam, well done for a job well done. And we wish you success on your new post as a member and chairperson of the Board of Trustees. And with all these achievements, I humbly request that we all stand up and give a great ovation to our outgoing president, the 9th president, the 8th president of Aflam, Mrs. Buhari. Thank you, Ma, for a job well done. Thank you. We also congratulate you, Madam President, the First Lady of Burundi, Mrs. Ndemisiye, and your Vice President, Mrs. Bazoum. We wish you success and God's guidance as you take on your new roles. Tomorrow we'll be commissioning one of the achievements of our outgoing first lady and president of Aflam. And I want to let you on a secret. The incoming president and her vice, it's a little secret. Ma, you have a very big, great office in your new secretariat. Thank you for coming. Thank you.
Please, a round of applause. Let's appreciate Victoria Ogala, Dr. Victoria Ogala, Special Assistant to the President on Health, Developmental Partners, and today, the presenter of the communique of the just concluded General Assembly of the African First Ladies Peace Mission. Well, that 10th General Assembly, like we heard, has brought in a new team, tag team of a new president and vice president in that place. But first of all, another round of applause. Let's appreciate Her Excellency Dr. Aisha Buhari, our First Lady and the outgoing president, incoming chairman of the board, for a great job. Very well done. Thank you very much, ma'am. And even as Mrs. Ogala has said it, Dr. Ogala has said it, I'd like to properly acknowledge the new president. And a round of applause for Her Excellency Angeline Inda Yishimie of Burundi and the Vice President Khadija Mabuke Bazoum of Niger. The secret is open, it's out, it's an amazing office, and we know that amazing interventions will proceed from that room and from that space of engagement with other First Ladies of the continent. Ambassador Bankole Adeoye, a question was thrown to you. How do you feel? And I found I had an answer for you. You feel distinctive, distinguished. Who wouldn't, sitting amongst such a distinguished gathering of African mothers? Another round of applause, please, for Ambassador Adeoye. Having said that, now we will be taking remarks. Our very first remark will be coming from Her Excellency, the Africa Union Special Envoy on Women, Peace and Security, Bineta Diop. A round of applause, please, as she comes up to give her presentation. It's a goodwill remark and one that celebrates both the initiative and the institutional representation of First Lady. You're welcome.
Thank you so much. Good morning. Such a wonderful day today. Let me congratulate you, Madam First Lady, Madam Aisha Buhari, the First Lady of Nigeria, and all the other First Lady present in this room. Let me also recognize the Vice President of Liberia. I would say that I will recognize the men at the table, Ambassador Bankole Adoye. I will say all protocol duly observed. Let me just say that I'm very honored and pleased to be here today. As a West African coming from Senegal, but also representing, being part of the delegation of Ambassador Bankole. I'm very happy and honored to be with you today, Madam First Lady, all the First Lady here present. So before I proceed, let me just add my voice, and I'm sure that Ambassador Bankole will do that by bringing the support of the entire African Union. As you know, the support is great coming from the chairperson, Musa Faki Mohammed, and we have a huge delegation led by Ambassador Bankole. And Ambassador Bankole, we are very grateful to you. Under your watch, we are seeing the great work of the First Lady, but also the great work done by African women on women, peace, and security. So I am sure that we're going to continue to applaud you by being the he for she. Thank you, Ambassador. So coming back to the First Ladies movement. You know, in 2030, we transformed from OAU to OEU. And what the Assembly did in the 50th anniversary is that to recognize that, you know, we need to get out of conflict. We need to make sure that we prevent genocide, what happened in Rwanda, that we bring peace, and those who can bring peace are the women of Africa. And they recognized in September 1995 the 6 African First Ladies, after appraising the protracted conflict on the African continent, and the First Lady to take a peace mission to Africa and complement the effort of the leaders of this continent. And you have been doing that. I was here in Abuja when the first conference of Women First Lady happened. I was one of the witnesses. I'm sure some of you might be, so it can tell you my age, you know, that you can guess. I was here and I spoke at the podium like I'm doing today, because as you know, myself, women, peace, and security is in my DNA. I have been in many countries, including Liberia, Sierra Leone, Guinea, Manu River, but other places, Great Lakes, Somalia, Sudan, you name them. Because we African women, we need to contribute. We need to be part of the solution and not part of the problem, and not just be seen as victims, but seeing as survivors, but those who make the difference. And that's what you are doing, First Lady of Africa. So let me just say that we are trying to make sure that, you know, in the Great Lakes, in the Sahel, in the Lake Chad Basin, the Horn of Africa, Central Africa. And as we are speaking right now, you know, the Sudan right now is a theater of war. And we need to continue to make sure that women are not being, you know, victims and the violence that we have been seeing, or the humanitarian, but we make sure that we contribute and we participate. Let me also say, Madam Aisha Buhari, you know, congratulate you for your vision, your foresight. You have invited me many times to come and work with you, either it was at AU or in New York, making sure that the solution that you are bringing, this center, because we don't just need a movement. What we need also is infrastructure. And that is what you are providing to the First Ladies movement. So let me just say that we appreciate what you are doing. The First Lady, we congratulate the new bureau. Burundi and Niger are great. We congratulate you. We are sure that under your leadership, things will move and continue. You have paved the way, Madam Buhari, so I think it will be very easy to continue the work and congratulations for also being yourself at the top on conducting the affairs of the movement. So I think where we can work with you, I will be very brief, where we can work with you under your watch, and I said Ambassador Bankole, but also we have Madam Rebecca Ochengo, who is the ambassador in charge of Women, Peace and Security, but the Peace and Security Council, we work together to make sure that with the peace movement, with my office, the Office of the Special Envoy on Women, Peace and Security, we work together and we collaborate in a meaningful way to make an impact. You know, everybody have a seat at the table, and this movement have a seat, and we have a seat together. So we need to support young girls, mentoring them, coaching them, and I think we can do it together. What you have done by putting in place the curriculum for young women, we need to build the capacity of women in peace negotiation. We have FemWise. How do we make sure that also we bring them and make sure that women are deployed underground? We need to make sure that women are also in political. It's not because if we need to prevent, we need to make sure that women are also at the political leadership. That's why we have also the Africa Women Leaders Network under the leadership of Ellen Johnson Sirleaf. One last thing I will highlight, we need to mobilize all of us, is to work around a convention against violence against women. During the triple crisis, COVID, climate, conflict, we have seen what is happening in our community, not just in Africa, but everywhere. So the African Union leaders have taken a decision to put in place a convention to fight against. It will be unique, nobody have help. So the First Lady have to take this as one of their agenda to make sure that we get that convention for African women. Your unique position next to the leadership will help us, I'm sure, to influence for women to participate meaningfully on peace, stability, and development in our continent. Thank you so much.
Another round of applause. Let's appreciate, thank, and celebrate Her Excellency Bineta Diop. Thank you, the Africa Union Special Envoy on Women, Peace and Security. A descriptive collateral, she says, is her DNA. And like she stated, we African women need to contribute to be part of the solution, not victims, but survivors working the difference, because everybody has a seat at the table. Please. Having said that, it's time for us now to invite for this next remark Ambassador Rebecca Amuge Otengo, Chairperson of the PSC for May 2023 and Ambassador of Uganda to Ethiopia, the AU and UNECA. You're welcome.
I should begin by saying that on the table
very distinguished First Ladies, and I feel very humble to sit next to you. And may I say, may God bless you and all your countries. Your Excellency, Mrs. Aisha Buhari, the First Lady of the Federal Republic of Nigeria and the President of the First Ladies Peace Mission. Your Excellency, the Vice President of Liberia, Your Excellencies, the First Ladies, Your Excellencies, Ministers who are present here, and my brother, Ambassador Bankole, the Commissioner Peace, Political Affairs, Peace and Security, Your Excellency, my sister, Binata Diop, the Special Envoy on Women, Peace and Security. Your Excellencies, Ambassadors and High Commissioners, I request you humbly that you allow me to stand on the existing protocols because I cannot list everything. On behalf of the Peace and Security Council of the African Union, and on my behalf, we extend our deepest gratitude to you, Your Excellency, Mrs. Buhari, for extending graciously this invitation to us in my capacity as the chair of Peace and Security Council in this month of May. And I would like to thank you for the hospitality granted to us since we arrived in this very beautiful capital of Abuja. Your Excellency, allow me to bring warm greetings from your own sister, Her Excellency Mama Janet Museveni, and our First Lady, and also the Minister of Education. She wanted to be here, but because of unavoidable circumstances, she was unable to join you. I also bring you greetings from the members of the Peace and Security Council who are ladies. There are 5 out of the 15, and we form 1/3. And therefore, we are so grateful to the heads of state and government for appointing female ambassadors at the AU, and that makes us part of the peace and security amongst the 15 members. May I take this opportunity to express my appreciation to Commissioner Bankole and his secretariat for organizing this historic engagement so that I was able to be part. Your Excellency, First Lady, I would like to state that we thank your government for giving the continent Ambassador Bankole, who is doing a very good job. First as the ambassador, we were together as permanent representatives, and now as the commissioner. We are satisfied with his work. May I also take this opportunity to appreciate my own brother, Ambassador Victor Adekele, for really working with his mission to make sure that this trip is coordinated. We are also with him in the Peace and Security Council. Your Excellency, the Peace and Security Council is very committed on the issues relating to women on the continent. As an example, on an annual basis, the Council dedicates 2 sessions to consider the role of women in peace and security. But in reality, the issues of women in peace processes across the continent are cross-cutting, and they are in our daily lives. On this occasion, and in many occasions, however, women are not put in the post-war conflict and peace-building processes. We feel that we are not part of the negotiation and governance institution. Sometimes we are there, but underestimated and underutilized. Your Excellency, in particular, in negotiations of peace agreements, women are always left behind, and as a result, the issues of women are seldom factored in the peace agreement. The UN Secretary General, in his report of 2021 on women, peace and security, observed that in 2020, women represented 23% of the delegates in the peace processes. And also, in the United Nations, the women only represented 5.2% of the military troops on peace operations. And that makes it a bit difficult for the women participation. In the conflict and post-conflict countries, women hold 18.9% of the parliamentary seat, compared to 25.5% globally. We are delighted to associate the Council with the work of the First Ladies Peace Mission, first established in 1996, we were corrected, as an organization, purposed significantly to address the plight of women in order to promote the inclusion and meaningful participation in peace-building processes and activities, particularly in preventive mechanism, peace negotiation, and peace building in the continent of Africa. The First Ladies Peace Mission is an organization that we must take advantage of. We feel is pivotal in the governance of our respective countries. We believe that leveraging the opportunities occasioned by the organization and its high-level membership will go a long way in fundamentally changing the lives and livelihoods of the society within where we live. The First Ladies are mothers in the first place. They provide hope, calm, and promise when situations become tense. At the Peace and Security Council, we have observed the nexus between peace, security, and development, and noted that to sustain peace, there need to be sustainable and inclusive development, without which there's no peace to speak about. Recently, Your Excellency, in the month of March, we had an interesting discussion on integrating the agenda of women, peace and security in the implementation of the African Continental Free Trade Area. We focused on women in the cross-border trade, in the conflict and post-conflict situations. At that meeting, Your Excellency, there was an overwhelming understanding that trade can contribute to peace and security by promoting economic empowerment, interdependency, and fostering economic and social connections between the countries and peoples. UN Women estimates that 70% of informal cross-border trade in Africa is conducted by women traders. It therefore means that if we well-positioned women, the untapped resources can be economic growth accelerator of the Africa economy. It is also observed, Your Excellency, that some of the major challenges faced by the women and youth in informal cross-border trade include, but not limited to, lack of access to trade-related information, lack of information on market access, and lack of trade finance. There is need to find practical and timely solution to these challenges, especially on the issue of trade finance, if there are to be meaningful empowerment of the women and the girl children. There is need, Your Excellencies, to establish and strengthen conflict management structures regionally, nationally, locally, at all those levels, and provide capacity building of members of such structures on laws and policies that promote gender equality, peace building, conflict analysis, mediation, negotiation, reconciliation, and women empowerment. In conclusion, Your Excellency Chair, the African Ladies Peace Mission is one of its kind and remains a model that can be replicated in other countries of the world. The position of the First Ladies in our countries is very strategic, and their involvement in peace missions will contribute immensely in silencing the guns on the continent. Your Excellency, on behalf of the Peace and Security Council, I salute you for this very beautiful initiative that has come out brilliantly, with you leaving a legacy project of having your headquarters. Members of the council are looking forward to receiving your report on the 16th of May on the topic mobilizing African stakeholders for effective mediation and preventive diplomacy, briefing on your activities as First Ladies on Peace Mission. Your Excellency, may I confirm and also preempt that this report we want to put in a process that reaches the heads of state and government summits so that they recognize what you are doing. On our part, working with the commissioner and my colleagues, we are committed to making sure that the report you give us on the 16th will form part of the report of the chairperson to the summit of the heads of state and government. Before I sit down, may I thank the heads of state and government, starting from President Buhari, His Excellency, who is so committed to the issues of children affected by conflict. And I know you've been side by side working on that. I would like to welcome the new chair, the president, and also humbly commit that we'll continue working with the incoming First Lady in the same line that we've been working with you. Thank you.
Thank you. Please, a round of applause. Ambassador Rebecca Muge-Otengo, Chairperson of the PSC for May 2023, Ambassador of Uganda to Ethiopia, AU, and UNECA. That was a thoroughly profiled and robust expression of all of the interventions and the conclusive subjective representations awaiting confirmation and preemptive report. Thank you very much once again. And like you have said, ma'am, the voice of the woman is powerful. But the voice of First Lady translates power to purpose. Once again, let's appreciate and celebrate the outgoing president of the African First Ladies Peace Mission for carrying purpose to the place of legacy. Dr. Aisha Buhari, well done and thank you. In the statement of Dr. Victoria Ogala, Madam, well done for a job well done. And with the job well done, we move on to this next comment. She's an eminently qualified expression of women in leadership. She is the Vice President of the Republic of Liberia. Her Excellency, Mrs. Jewel Taylor, is an African hero and one whose voice today, without question, translates power to purpose and to legacy. For her remarks and, of course, her own surmise at the African First Ladies Peace Mission today, let us welcome the Vice President of Liberia. We can keep celebrating. Again, thank you, Your Excellency. Like I said, an eminent African hero. Come
on. Your Excellency, Dr. Mrs. Aisha Buhari, our gracious host and convener, other excellencies, special esteemed guests at this high table, our distinguished First Ladies from across Nigeria, and let me stop there before I get into some trouble. Allow me to stand on the existing protocols, please. Today is a special honor for me to be here in this beautiful city of Abuja. 25 years ago, as the First Lady of Liberia, I was a part of the First Ladies Peace Mission under the auspices of Her Excellency Miriam Sani Abacha, who spoke about dreams, thank you, and aspirations of what First Ladies could be and how impactful their voices could be, whether with their husbands who were heads of state or across the continent, speaking on issues that matter. It's been 27 years, and I'm honored today to be a part of this great celebration with a leader who is an outgoing president of the African First Ladies Peace Mission, who has left such a resounding legacy. Can we clap for her again? You know, when good things happen, we have to spread it. We have to talk about it. Because women in leadership, in most instances, are battered and harassed. But in spite of all of the challenges, within 18 months, she has ensured there were audited statements that are a part of our records today. She has amended the charter of the African First Ladies Peace Mission. She's built a legacy project that is the headquarters, and her leadership has been impactful and transformational. We are grateful for such a unique example of women's leadership. I salute you, ma'am. The work of the African First Ladies Mission is very significant, not just about peace and security, but about economic empowerment, inclusion, and human rights. If you look at their mission statement, it goes through all of the different sectors, which gives them a very broad platform for impact. I want to thank the First Ladies who are a part of this amazing group of people who have worked together over the past 18 months. Some of them are present this morning and some are not, but together they have gotten as far as you see them today. Permit me to add my voice to others who have spoken before me to extend our profound gratitude to our gracious host, Her Excellency Dr. Aisha Buhari, for organizing this auspicious event at this point in time. We thank you for your show of love and commitment to this movement. I am grateful that you have assumed the leadership of the Board of Trustees of the African First Ladies Peace Mission that will secure the support of the First Ladies, as you have so eloquently put it in our earlier meetings. So today marks the end of an era and the beginning of a new one. But such is a circle of life. Thankfully, this season ends on a very high note, with shoes that are very, very, very hard to fill. But I know our incoming president and the vice president, with all of the support from the other First Ladies, will fight for greater participation and inclusion, not just in their homes, but across the continent. The work of women never ends, and we must continue to join our hearts and our hands together to ensure women are put where we belong, in front, in the center, and in the middle of everything that is happening around us. I want to take this time to say thank you to our He for She champions. We don't say it enough, but we know that without the support of great men like His Excellency President Muhammadu Buhari and some of our African leaders, including our AU representative here, maybe our work will be far behind. Can we please give a standing ovation to the He for She champions in this room and across Africa for their support to the women's agenda, please? Thank you. It is important that they feel needed and that they feel appreciated, because if we don't continue to do so, they might think we have arrived, and we haven't yet arrived. We're still walking a very tight rope, but thank you to all of you. As I listened this morning to the conversations with the First Lady, my mind was triggered back many years in the Liberian Civil War. What brought an end to that civil war were women from all spectrums of society getting up and saying, enough is enough. And that is what brought an end to the Liberian Civil War. That energy exists in our regions, in our countries, in our neighborhoods all across Africa. I pray that going forward, this movement will ignite that fire, that all of us across the continent can get up again and say, enough is enough. We still have very high levels of sexual, thank you. We still have very high levels of sexual and gender-based violence across our countries. We still have child marriages. We still have rape. There are so many things women are still left behind. And if you talk about peace and security, without 50% of the population of the world, then we're only at 50%. And when I went to school many years ago, I think 50% was a failing grade. If we're still operating on 50% of the success and the innovation and the energy that we need to carry our countries from where we are today to the next level, women must be brought on board, especially at the political level. You see, some women are happy to get involved in civil work, or they're involved in civil society organizations or the international NGOs. Those are brilliant because our voices are also needed at that point. But women are needed in the leadership of our countries, of our states, of our different political subdivisions, because we bring a whole different angle to the table. And the First Lady's Peace Mission has said so eloquently that they will advocate and promote political, economic, and social empowerment. If we bring women on board and provide what is needed, I believe the conflicts across our region will come to an end, because women are interested in holistic development of their societies and of their families. If you listen to the news over the past few months, it seems that the old enemies are rearing their head. Conflicts, coups, counter coups. I'm confused as to who's where anymore. The fact is, women are still not being involved. And what I think we should do as we move forward is to look at the signals. There are some signals that people will see at the beginning and that we don't pay any attention to. By the time you ignore those signals, we are involved in full-blown crisis, which affects everyone, whether you're in Liberia or Johannesburg or you're in Ethiopia. Crisis on the continent affects everyone. We have many challenges ahead of us as we strive to take hold of the African Continental Free Trade Agreement to lift up our people out of poverty. We must ensure that signs of any kind of instability or tyranny should be put to rest. The First Ladies, I hope, have become friends in a way where you can speak to one another. If there is a husband or a head of state seeming to veer off course, we must be willing to tackle the very difficult issues if we are serious about peace and security, economic improvement, and uplifting Africa to where we should be. Let me end with the words from an artist, Mr. Spar Street, who said, "The agent of change is that part of us that deeply wants to make a difference in this world, that desires to uphold our lives in a way that inspires others to organize and put their greatness into a process that benefits everyone, to do wonderful things. It is this part of us that allows heaven to move through us unimpeded so that we can be of service and leave the world at a better place." I want to thank the leadership under Her Excellency Dr. Aisha Buhari for the brilliant work that you've started. We pray that it will go to another level so that in time to come, we'll be talking about how improved our lives have become, how the level of poverty has been reduced, and how women are front and center of the Africa we want to see. Thank you so much for having me come to this program. I am so grateful.
Your Excellency, the Vice President of Liberia, Her Excellency Mrs. Jewel Taylor. And honestly, before I say a round of applause, I'd like to say 3 amens in a row, because she made 3 conclusive statements that were really 3 opening prayers for the next level. Amen, amen, amen. May the women of Africa, mothers of Africa, first ladies of Africa, and whole generation of leaders of Africa, in looking out for the signals, never forget to sound the sirens. Because like she has stated, crisis on the continent affects one and affects all. Thank you very much, Your Excellency. So profoundly spoken. What we see now are the interventions preceding the signing of the Memorandum of Understanding with the African Union by the Africa First Ladies Peace Mission. Today, at this 10th General Assembly, with the presence of Ambassador Bankole Adeoye, the AU Commissioner for Political Affairs, Peace and Security, Their Excellencies, led by our President, outgoing of the Abuja First Ladies, Africa First Ladies Peace Mission, and her sister First Ladies, will be signing this MOU. And what is being signed out today is the beginning of tomorrow's legacy. With Excellency, Madam, as chairperson of the board. Once again, please let's welcome them as they now rise. Ambassador Bankole Adeoye, of course, I want to believe he or she and Commander-in-Chief of this process of engagement and of signage. A round of applause to all their excellencies. Once again, this is the signing of MOU with the African Union by the Africa First Ladies Peace Mission. And the profiling of this was already presented earlier on by Dr. Ogala, the content of this MOU. Let's not forget that Her Excellency Dr. Aisha Buhari had actually requested that peace become part of school curriculums all across Africa. And of course, spotlighting leadership, not just for the African girl child, but positioning the African First Lady in her global representation and impact. Thank you. Well, the women's anthem states all across the nations and all around the world, women are longing to be free, no longer in the shadows, forced to stay behind, but side by side in true equality. So sing a song for women everywhere. Let it ring around the world and never, never cease. We sing our song. A round of applause for women everywhere. Equality, development, and peace. Another round of applause. There it is, the signing of the Memorandum of Understanding between the African Union and Africa First Ladies Peace Mission. Once again, This is history and the legacy celebration of peace and security. Thank you very much, Ambassador Bankole Adeoye, the team, AU Commissioner for Political Affairs, Peace and Security. And now, let's put our hands together for the chairperson of the African First Ladies Peace Mission, outgoing president of the African First Ladies Peace Mission, and still incumbent, but in transition, First Lady of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, Her Excellency Dr. Mrs. Aisha Buhari, First Lady of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, future assured. Well, let's make it a celebration. We sing our song for women everywhere. Let it ring around the world and never, never cease. Sing our song for women everywhere. Equality, development, and did I hear you say it? And Your Excellency, congratulations, and over to you. Thank you.
A very good afternoon, distinguished ladies and gentlemen. Your Excellency, the Vice President of Liberia and also a former First Lady of Liberia. His Excellency Ambassador Bankole Adeoye, Commissioner for Political Affairs, Peace and Security, African Union Commission. Ambassador Rebecca Omogo Otengo, Chairperson of PSC, Ambassador of Uganda to Ethiopia, AU and UNECA. My sisters, the First Ladies of Burundi, Gambia, Sao Tome and Principe, the First Lady of Niger, the wife of the President-elect, the wives of the governors here present, the wives of the service chiefs, members of the diplomatic corps, the representative of the DG of IAEA, distinguished ladies and gentlemen. It is my pleasure to welcome Your Excellencies, all guests, to the 10th General Assembly of African First Ladies Peace Mission. I do this on behalf of my sister First Ladies and the good people of Nigeria, hoping that your participation at this event will be fruitful and memorable. The 9th Assembly of the Mission, which was held in November 2021, appraised the conflict situation in Africa and noted escalating threats of insecurity and violence, pointing to their devastating effects on women and children, who bear the greatest consequences. It underscored the important role women can play in confronting these challenges. The Assembly also noted the need for collective action by African First Ladies on the core objectives of the Aflpm and the need for mobilization, advocacy, and sensitization of these mandates through relevant local, regional, and international platforms. Also noted was the need for strengthening processes and structures for achieving our mission, especially by mitigating vulnerabilities in women and children. The highlight of the events was my election as president and pledge of members to support me in achieving the core mandate of the mission. During the period, I promised to construct a befitting secretariat for the mission in Abuja, leading to a successful resource mobilization. Subsequently, the draft charter of the mission was circulated for the consideration of member states of their necessary inputs. Since my assumption as the president, the African Union gave me permission to brief the African leaders on the history and mandate of the Aflpm MIPREDA during the extraordinary session of the Assembly of Heads of States and Governments in Malabo, Equatorial Guinea And at the side event, attended by African First Ladies, the Vice Chair of the mission emerged in the person of the Burundi First Lady, Mrs. Angela Ndayishimiye, to ensure effective performance towards peace building and development in Africa. I see this as a landmark achievement in line with the mandate of advocacy, sensitization, and mobilization. Considering the pressure on First Ladies occasioned by humanitarian crisis in many countries, the mission embarked on the distribution of educational materials, food supplements, and nutritional food items, aimed at supporting their efforts, particularly as they affect women, children, and other vulnerable groups in the society. The items donated include rice, books, nutritional packs for malnourished children, and other essential commodities. The countries that benefited including Sierra Leone, Burundi, Ghana, Cote d'Ivoire, Liberia, Senegal, Gambia, São Tomé and Príncipe, Republic of Niger, and Guinea-Bissau. Humanitarian support was also given to the victims of recent Turkey-Syria earthquake with the supply of 10,000 blankets on behalf of the African First Ladies Peace Mission. During the 77th United Nations General Assembly in New York, the mission partnered with the United Nations Population Fund to organize a high-level side event aimed at intensifying efforts towards ending gender-based violence and reiterating the importance of meaningful engagement of young women and girls as peace builders. Your Excellencies, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, as I promised during the 9th Assembly, the 5-story Secretariat of the mission in Abuja, Nigeria, has been fully constructed in just under a year, and it is ready for commissioning tomorrow by the grace of God. The realization and completion of the Aflpm Secretariat, which I'm very proud to note, was funded by the support of the Nigerian government, member states, and private donors. This is a true testament of Aflpm's mission and vision to serve as a supportive platform and mechanism for the women-led initiatives that will contribute to the advancement of peace, stability, and security on our continent. Indeed, beyond serving as a secretariat for the Aflpm, the building will also be a home and hub for other African women-led organizations and a center of excellence. Notably, this assembly has just witnessed the official signing of the Memorandum of Understanding between Aflpm and the African Union. This was a critical step in re-energizing the peace mission and setting it on a pathway to ensure its sustainability as a mechanism for promoting peace, mediation, and conflict resolution on the continent. Let me express special gratitude to His Excellency Monsieur Musa Faki Mahama, Chairman of the African Union Commission, for his fervent support and solidarity with the Aflpm vision. In line with the vision of Aflpm, recent events have revived the need for more concerted action regarding the issues of women, peace, and security in Africa. Issues of banditry, insurgency, internal strife, and even coup d'etats have unfortunately continued. Countries that suffer from the problems are witnessing stealth development. Peace-building initiatives are currently ongoing to find a lasting solution to the lingering crisis in the Democratic Republic of Congo, where women and children have left the harsh effects of the conflict. Another humanitarian window has been exposed with the sudden eruption of violence in Sudan. All hands must be on deck to ensure that the problems are not allowed to escalate. Peace Mission is open to engaging with all relevant bodies in this regard. Your Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, it is instructive to note that kinetic approaches have not been successful in ending conflicts. Accordingly, other approach must be pursued, such as constructive engagement with wealthy individuals to create deliberate opportunities for poverty reduction, engaging the media as a key player to be tasked with its agenda-setting role. Educational institutions must introduce a curriculum on peace studies and promote the development of peace clubs in secondary schools. All of these can play significant roles on their own and in various partnerships. In conclusion, as you are aware, my husband's tenure as President of Nigeria will end on the 29th of May, 2023. Accordingly, a new President and Vice President have been elected during our closed-door session. And they are the First Lady of Burundi as the President of Aflpm, and the Vice President, the First Lady, is the First Lady of Niger Republic. Her term begins on the date my term as First Lady ends. That is 29th of May, 2023. I wish her good luck during her tenure, and I express confidence that her tenure will move Aflpm a notch higher, and I promise to remain supportive to her in my role as a member of the Chair of the Honorary Advisory Council. The council membership is open to all former First Ladies, all female former presidents and vice presidents who wish to remain active and supportive to the development of peace and development in Africa. I also hope that her tenure will bring a more united and peaceful Africa. I cannot conclude my speech without appreciating the role that the Federal Ministry of Justice and Ministry of Works played during the initial stage of the construction, and also going through the charter and changing the constitution of the African First Ladies Peace Mission. I would like to call on the members of the Ministry of Works to stand up for recognition, and Ministry of Justice, and also Dr. Kamal Mohammed, who is a medical doctor, but I forced him to be a lawyer at one point. I would like to thank Ministry of Finance, I would like to thank Ministry of Finance and the Minister of FCTA, and also the Inspector General of Police and the Nigerian Peace Institute for their support. And thank you so much, and God bless you.
Please, let's celebrate and appreciate Her Excellency. Her Excellency, First Lady of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, president of the Africa First Ladies Peace Mission until May the 29th, as she has explicitly outlined for us, and of course, the incoming board chair of the African First Ladies Peace Mission. Congratulations, man. Thank you very much. Having acknowledged as well, once again, all of the participation, the interventions, and of course, the collective work of the team from the Federal Ministry of Works, the Minister of the Federal Capital Territory, Abuja, Federal Minister of Finance, Minister of Justice. I noticed that there was a lot of reticent, do I call it shyness in the room. But can we please ask you all to please stand again so we can properly acknowledge and celebrate you. Please, all of the representation of those ministries that are here seated in this room, Her Excellency deems it appropriate that you be seen, celebrated, and recognized. Could you please rise again for another round of applause? Thank you. If they are seated anywhere near you, encourage them to rise up. Get up, get up. Let's keep clapping, appreciating them. Congratulations, congratulations. Thank you. Well, at this point, we're going to be inviting for the vote of thanks. We've listened to Her Excellency's speech, and it's a call for collective action, of course, profiling the First Ladies as first actors of interventions for peace and security in office and even
Indeed, the new executives are coming into a beautiful state-of-the-art edifice at the Secretariat of the Mission. I wish to also thank the newly elected President and Vice President and pray that their tenure will be successful. Thank you also to the First Ladies of Sao Tome and Principe, the Gambia, and the Vice President of Liberia for making our time to attend the session in person. We also appreciate the First Ladies of Congo-Brazzaville, Congo DRC, Liberia, and Equatorial Guinea for sending in representatives. Our partners, the African Union, we thank you for keying into the vision of the African First Ladies Peace Mission. And with your support, the mission will achieve more. The wife of the President-elect of Nigeria and incoming First Lady, Senator Oluremi Tinubu, thank you for coming. We thank government officials, members of the governors here present, wives of service chiefs, women politicians. We thank members of the press and all other invited guests. Lastly, we thank the staff of the Office of the First Lady, the Future Assured, and the African First Ladies Peace Mission for all they put in to make these events successful. Thank you and God bless.
Please, once again, a round of applause. Let's appreciate Suleiman Haruna, Director of Information from the Office of the First Lady. And with all of those appreciations, expressions of gratitude, this event would not be a seal if we didn't have the group photograph taken to go with the reportage that shall be following. So there shall be group photographs as directed, I believe, by Suleiman himself and the team. We'd like to thank everyone for coming, and I believe looking forward, peace clubs as well as peace on school curriculum as directed by a chairperson of the African First Ladies Peace Mission all across Africa. Thank you very much. My name is Adedayo Benjamin Zlani, and it has been my privilege to serve as host for this particular event in the whole program of events over the next 2 days. Thank you. Your Excellency, I appreciate. Shall we all please rise? We shall take the group photographs, or we shall do the national anthem first, after which we will do the group photographs. Thank you. Is the national anthem ready for replay? Arise, O compatriots, Nigeria's call obey, to serve our fatherland with love and strength and faith. The labor of our heroes past shall never be in vain. To serve with heart and might, one nation bound in freedom, peace and unity. Peace and unity. Congratulations to Africa Union and the Africa First Ladies Peace Mission. We sing our song for women everywhere. Let it ring around the world and never, never cease. We sing our song for women everywhere. Equality, development, and peace. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Group photographs as directed by the protocol. Thank you.